All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Empowered Practice podcast for this Taurus new moon episode. I'm going to turn it over to Toni and let her ground us in.
All right. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and just let it out. And I want you to flow in there for a minute. Just taking those big breaths in and letting it all out. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're breathing. Just honor where you are right now. And on your next exhale, I just want you to feel the breath. Feel how your chest vibrates. Feel the skin, the muscles, all the things around you. And just continue breathing. Bringing yourself into your body. Cultivate this feeling. Remember it. What does it feel like to listen to your body? To just feel yourself. Welcome this feeling, this focus. Allow this to take you on a beautiful sensual ride through Taurus this season. How does it feel when the air just spreads throughout your body? You feel it going into your nose and out. Just being here more in your body, grounded. And as you're here, breathing, just breathing, because that's all you have to do. Set your intention. What answer do you need when you listen to us today? Set an intention and know that is done. Take 2 or 3 really big breaths this time. So fill the belly up and let it all out.
It's always so good just to take a few moments to breathe.
Yeah, and to come in the moment, to feel the body. So yeah, and we're in Taurus, all about feeling the body, guys.
Yes.
All about sensuality, and the parts of sensuality that usually don't make you feel as uncomfortable to talk about. So, touching in a loving way, whether it's sexual or not, are, the ideas and the focus of this time. Yeah. And I would, just to start out, within this season, everyone, we've already kind of created this pace in our life of slowing down a bit more, and be prepared to slow down even more within Taurus season. The bull is known for being stubborn, but also taking its time. Because sometimes it's, we look at it in a negative way, stubborn, but in another way, it's just being mindful, going even slower. And this season is really going to call a lot of us to go even slower. We didn't think we could go slower.
Yeah.
but this is, it's coming up. And then Taurus is ruled by Venus. So there's a natural air of love, a natural air of caring, of beauty, of celebration. And I call on you all to use your heart as you navigate slowing down even more. Sometimes we have to do stuff from the gut, sometimes we have to put fire behind it, or sometimes we have to do things from the mind and really plan things out and use systems. But in this time, it's really going to come from the heart. That's how you'll be able to navigate it without feeling like you're falling to pieces because everything's going so slow, to have compassion for others and yourself.
Yeah.
And to have fun with it, because that's Venus is about that as well. Venus is about, beautifying yourself, making things pretty around you, things that just make you feel light and flirty and fun. So that sounds pretty cool to slow down in, right?
It does. And to me, it's bringing in this like beautiful balance to the Aries moon that we had last time. So that was very much like a fire starter energy, like get things going and really fuel it. And now it's like we're building the foundations. Like we already had that starter energy, and now it's just like maintenance, like slow, one step in front of the other, building that strong foundation on our intentions.
Oh my gosh, perfect thing to bring up, because I was doing some research within all the planets and how everything is aligned right now. And it came up in multiple parts of my research where it was saying that within this time, a lot of us are going to go back to our foundational pieces, our morals, our standards, what we want in our life.
Right.
Is this really in alignment with who I am? Like, you know, so what came up last moon cycle? So much, right? we had to process through the pandemic. Now we're in, you know, okay, this is our new reality, and so many new things have came up. So where do you stand? Is human life important to you? Is where's going to work more important to you? You know, it is what it is. You know, like what maybe before this, and I feel a certain way. I don't think either thing is really that wrong, because it's a difficult time to be in. But maybe you started out in this pandemic thinking one way, and it turns out you feel totally different. Right? So a big reevaluation of who we are and how we want to show up in the rest of this year. Big stuff coming up.
Yeah, and if you're not clear on your values, because Venus rules like our values as well and what we value, I just want to throw out there's a free assessment you can take. It's called VIA, Character Strengths, and there's 24, and it'll list them based on the questionnaire that you take. It'll list them 1 to 24, 1 being the one that's the weighted most for you, like your highest value, and 24 the one you value the least. So that can give you some insight into what you do value, and then start to align your time and energy with those things that you value most.
Oh, that's perfect. And the best way to go into this season with a system that feels good for you. To know, like, okay, well, where do I stand in this? Or how do I want to show up more for myself in this world? Or have I been too focused on self and not on other things outside of me?
Right.
So be prepared, guys, for a lot of inner reflection, but I also feel like a lot of fun. If you just open your heart to the loveliness of spring, because soon we're going to be inching out of this time. So just you know, enjoying seeing the flowers bloom, and the birds are out, and we get to hear all these things more and see it more now. So just sit down,
I mean, it really feels like we're all like going through like the metamorphosis of a butterfly, and right now we're in the stage where we're in the cocoon and we're getting ready to break out.
Yes, or we're hoping we get to break out.
We will. I'll keep holding that vision for us. We will break out.
And, you know, it feels like and always with any new moon, it's a new opportunity to, you know, start over, set those intentions, a beautiful cycle to follow. So with this, maybe you kind of got lost in some other stuff last month or the month before. Being the first, you know, earth sign of the new zodiac year and things like that. It's an awesome time to just get back in there. You know, take that stubborn energy, that focused energy of the bull, and go, okay, you know what? I can show up this time. I can do this. I've noticed within my practice, a few of my clients were feeling a little stagnant. Like the fire came, and then it just kind of, as the moon, you know, started getting smaller and smaller, and as we're just still processing through everything, and things change every day. So call up that energy, call up that bull energy, that earthy, groundy, sensual movement. Think about like the body. Because sometimes most of us don't have a big plan, right? In the long run.
Yeah.
But sometimes all we have to do is just show up today, now. So
Right.
I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna say an affirmation, and that's movement, and that's
Yeah.
getting up, and that's starting from there. So just, cultivating the natural just energy of now, of the body, of
Yeah.
duality, being human, and exploring it.
And slow and steady like wins the race is like an adage that's coming up for me. Like, don't underestimate the power of taking 2 minutes to stretch when you get up, or saying one affirmation. That can really set the tone for your whole day and the energy that you carry forward. So it's really powerful. It doesn't have to be, I think something that Taurus holds too is like simplifying things. Like, you don't have to make it overly complex. Just come back to the foundations. Just breathe, move your body in a way that feels good, adorn your body in a way that feels good. Trust your instincts and that sensual nature that we all carry.
That was perfect, especially that last statement, trusting the instinct. Um, with my experience with Taurus people in general, they are so intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
and calling on that same strength, because that energy is going to be all around us.
Yeah.
And using your intuition to guide you along this re-exploration of your morals and what you need in your life. um, and listen to yourself. And if all you need to do is stretch, that's enough. Just like you
Yeah.
said, slow and steady wins the race. It's easy to get caught up in the huge plan or the big scheme, or if I'm not doing 200%, then what am I
Exactly.
doing? This is no, not this time. So what they say, was it slow down, smell the flowers? Is that the
Yeah. Like, stop and smell the roses.
Yes, I think that's what it is. Stop and smell the roses. That's it. That's the theme of this season. To
Yes.
stop and smell the roses,
I
and
love
whatever that
that.
means in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And I also think like each, um, I can't even think of the word now, like, um, member of the zodiac, like Taurus, for example, holds a shadow side to it. And that is not something that has to be like, we don't have to be afraid of it. It just is an opportunity to become wise about that aspect of our nature. So I would say
Yes.
something that you might want to look at with Taurus is things that you're just like stubbornly gripping to that are no longer serving you, because it really wants to avoid change, and change is coming. And even like Uranus is going to be really active during this time, and it's like the
Oh
planet of like innovation and newness. And
yeah.
so there's kind of that fighting, or that like friction between those two energies. So
Yeah.
just pay attention to what you're holding on to that's no longer serving you and is really draining your energy by just like keeping a grip on it.
Yes. The bull can sometimes hold on to something, even if it's killing it.
Yeah.
And usually, some feels emotional ties. The
Mm-hmm.
bull can be very giving energetically. The bull will give, 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 give,
Yes.
give, give, and then just be totally, completely depleted from it. So,
Yeah.
what is depleting you? What is just not, is no longer serving?
Yeah.
um, and it's okay to release the things you love.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I've noticed that with Taurus, that's always the hardest thing within this
Yeah.
energy, is to release what you love. It's okay
Yeah.
to do it.
Think
We've
of
all
it like
have.
planting a new garden as like a spring
Yeah.
analogy. Like, you've got to kind of till the ground and make the soil fertile for new things to come in.
Mm, right. So for sure, some more internal work,
Yeah.
some more, deep down discovery work. And just remember to be vulnerable with yourself, open with yourself,
Yeah.
um, and try to redirect that stubborn energy for sure. Yes.
Yeah. So, Toni, is there anything that you've been holding on to that feels like it's ready to be released?
Oh, yeah. So in the last couple of weeks, um, from the last time I know we talked, I was speaking on the work I've been doing with my solar plexus.
Yeah.
I have really dig deep and saw how I was holding on to old beliefs of feelings of unworthiness. And I think we talked about that
Yeah.
last time. But as I've had so much extra time and trying to use
Yeah.
it wisely, of digging deeper and deeper and deeper, I didn't realize how so many of my actions, my self-talk, and even talking with my friends and family, loved ones, and even within my clients, how I wasn't valuing myself, or I was going back and forth with it.
Yeah.
And so I am officially rreleasing the subconscious behaviors that I wasn't aware of that were depleting me.
It's beautiful.
Because every negative thought, it feels like it puts a little hole in your aura, and then you have to find something to plug it up with. But sometimes you get stuck in that cycle of creating a hole, plugging up, creating a hole, plugging up,
Yeah.
and then you miss all the good stuff.
Yeah.
In between. So just really releasing that. Another thing, which is a part of it, is being more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Up in the vulnerability and not allowing myself to just show up of how I believe I should appear. And that doesn't happen as much within my practice or outside of new friendships and connections. But for sure in my older ones, my friends, my family, for decades, things of that nature, just really allow myself to open up more and be vulnerable and say what's hurting me, say what's coming up. And just letting it be, and just really, and it's been nice. It has been honestly life-changing. To just finally just really just open up in that deep way, and allowing your tribe to be your tribe. So
I feel
those are
like
the things I'm releasing, calling in.
That's beautiful. And it reminds me of a previous episode where we said, the people around you, more often than not, they really do want to support you. They just don't know how. And so when you can clearly ask for what you need, they're so happy to jump in and to feel that hit of goodness, that hit of altruism for helping.
Yes. And just letting them, because they love you.
Yeah.
And that's part of being in the relationship too. Romantic, friendship, family, whatever, is allowing your loved ones to love you.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to just open up, because guess what? When you get off the phone, they're really gonna feel the same probably.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal to you to say it, and they're like, okay, see you tomorrow.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm releasing. What are you? What's new? What's a new intention that you want to set within this new season? Let's go there.
Well, in our initial grounding, what came up to me was just radical acceptance of what is and allowing what's coming in to come in without blocking it, without obstructing it in any way. So there's so much new happening in my life right now. I'm moving house. I'm moving to a new state. We don't know how long we're going to be there or what that's really going to look like. We're going to be living with other people for the first time for both of us. For me, it'll be the first time in like 7 years that I've lived on my own. So there's a lot of like change. And what I'm noticing is with all this like ungroundedness, there's a desire in like the habitual part of my brain to go back to old tendencies. So for the listeners, if you didn't know this about me, long time ago, around middle of high school to beginning years of my college years, I had disordered eating tendencies. So I dealt with like restrictive eating tendencies, and it was really just like a way that I could grasp control, the way that I could feel in control when everything else felt out of control. And it was also a way that because I underate, it was a way that I coped emotionally. So I felt like I was so full of these emotions and I didn't know how to manage them or deal with them. So that was the only way that I could feel empty.
Yeah.
So I haven't had those sorts of things come up for me, but if you aren't aware, there's different forms of restriction. So it's not just caloric restriction. You may be eating adequate calories and even getting adequate nutrients into your body. But if you are mentally restricting things, that is still taxing your system. That is still draining you. That can still affect you on a hormonal level. And so I became aware of little tendencies of mental restriction that were going on and just faced them, showed so much love and compassion to myself for how far I've come with it. And it's not a linear path. It's up and down. So it's amazing to see how many hills and valleys I've come through to get to this point, and to just really love up on myself and to have this whole arsenal of tools that I can now come to feel grounded and stable amidst everything that's changing and going.
I wish I emoji prayer hands in this moment for the toolbox. Okay, the toolbox has saved me like a million times every day.
Yes.
Through all this stuff. So I'm like, the toolbox.
Yes.
It is a miracle that gets you through. And even if I had a session the other day and a client, we were talking, and when she gets hydrated, she feels better in the story. And that's all of us. But really, that's in her toolbox. And she was like, well, I just thought it was so simple. You know, you might think some of the things in your toolbox are just too simple to just make you feel that much better.
Yes.
Trust the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's the toolbox for a reason. It's a tool in there for a reason.
Exactly.
Trust it. It doesn't matter how little it is, how small it is. Even if it's something that you learned in high school that helped you to just come back into the moment, it still matters.
Yeah.
You know? And if it's just breathing, if it's just getting your water in, if it's watching a movie you love.
Yeah. And all the way up to the more subtle things, like something that's not quite so tangible to grasp, like just bringing compassion to yourself in the moment, just accepting exactly what is and exactly how you are in the moment can be really course shifting.
Yes. A lot of that this week as well.
Yeah.
I have a system, and it's pretty popular within self-compassion though. So, but anyone listening, what you can do is you just acknowledge how you're feeling. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on, let me go back. First, you take some deep breaths. Try to come into the moment. That's number 1. 2, just acknowledge how you're feeling. Even if it feels icky to kind of just say it, like, I just don't understand why he wouldn't call me back, or I just don't like the way I look. Like, even the stuff that just feels really uncomfortable to say, just say it. And then acknowledge, like, well, why does this hurt my feelings? Like, well, possibly, you just got out of a relationship and you had some high expectations for someone and it didn't work out. Like, just saying why, so you can, talk yourself through that, and just take some more deep breaths and just feel. Like, kind of just talk yourself through it, and you'll feel so much better after 5 to 10 minutes of just allowing yourself. And I know one thing that's been helping me is when I've been getting down, because I'm just started my cycle with the moon. So I went through my PMS week. So I had lots and lots of ups and downs and all around. I was thinking about, like, how would I talk to my son?
Yeah.
When he's upset, I don't tell him, well, don't feel that way, or don't do that. Right. Or I don't try to just change the subject. I just comfort him. Or I think about my friends, my family, and they're like, hey, this hurt my feelings. I'm like, yeah, that sucks. So I'm like, well, I deserve the same treatment.
Exactly.
Like, why am I forcing myself to not feel what's natural? So allow that to come in and use the toolbox within this season, because Taurus is a grounded sound, but it's an emotional one. So it's going to be a lot of emotions coming up. And I think also a lot of things that feel like addictions.
Yeah.
a lot, Taurus is known for that as well, having that sometimes issues with addictions and things, just
Yep.
wanting to be very in the body in the moment. And sometimes you have quick reliefs. Sometimes it's drugs, alcohol, sometimes it's a behavior,
Right.
So that's going to come up too, big time. I
Yeah.
pulled some cards for us.
Ooh.
Yes. Moonology deck this time. And guess what the first card I pulled? Full moon in Aries.
Wow.
A fiery climax approaches.
Yeah.
This is the internal climax we've been talking about. It's like the very last battle in the war that really determines who is the winner. So go to your toolbox, deep breathe every day.
Yeah.
If you can't, meditate every day.
Yeah.
Journal, write your affirmations, talk to the people that you feel completely comfortable with as much as you can. Okay, even if it's just a text. Be vulnerable, be open, because it's going to be a test, a test of where you want to end out once Gemini season comes. And so I pulled that card, and I felt like, oh, we need another one.
Yeah. There's more to the story.
Yes. And so the next card is full moon in Virgo.
Wow.
You are good enough. You are good enough. No matter what the outcome is on how you figure out your new foundation, your new place in this ever evolving world, know that you were born enough, you're going to die enough, you're living enough. You are enough. You are enough. You will find the balance you're seeking. You will have the love that you're seeking. You will have that self-compassion. It's there for you. So just remember, you are enough. You are enough. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because there is no perfect. And it's that simple. It's like, how can you be something that doesn't exist? You're already beautiful, already amazing. So let it come. Let all the stuff come. Let the fire come. Let the climaxes come. Let that war energy still be here as you navigate who you are, and stand strong and grounded in that Virgo earthy energy with this Taurus, and know that you're enough. You're enough. Let that be the foundation. Yeah.
Beautiful. What a beautiful way to close. Sending you all so much love. And Toni, where can people connect with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Parks Holistic Health. You can also go to my website, parksholistichealth.net. I would love to work with any of you one-on-one, holistic mental wellness coaching. We bring all this together. It's totally personalized, totally for you. And the consultation is free.
Beautiful. And I highly recommend signing up for Toni's newsletter.
Oh, yes. We pour so much love into that newsletter.
Yes.
You can sign up for it through my Instagram on my website, but we have recipes that are created directly in correlation with the moon and where it's at, readings, astrology reports, informational supplements, and all these things. And there's multiple women that contribute to this newsletter, which I'm very proud of that, to show that the collective is working, and very happy to contribute to all of it. So please, we really pour our heart into it. It's very special.
It's beautiful, y'all. And you can find me at JD Ingalls on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I do weekly series diving into the different aspects of our human design charts or our body graphs. I also have a free Facebook group that will help you get started with your chart, and a course that will walk you through the foundations of your chart. And I come in there weekly to do lives on different aspects that you have questions about. So you can join that. Just search Human Design with JD and you'll find that there. And I also have a weekly newsletter that comes out on Fridays of each week. So you can sign up for that on Instagram. All right. Sending you all so much love.
Bye-bye.